And the thing is, I kind of get both sides with like Manal's side or the fan side and the company side. Because on one hand, she really was sickly, she really was inexperienced, and she really was put in a high pressure situation. So I don't completely blame her for taking off the practices that weren't necessary and taking time to herself because it was a new environment. She has no experience in show business or anything. But then at the same time, as a company, when you have the responsibility of making that call on if someone could hack it in the idol life, they did sort of fumble because yes, while Manon had the exact visual that people wanted, she was already popular and she would fit very well within the group, and they knew she would be popular. As a company, you have a responsibility to cut the cord when someone is showing signs of excessive physical fatigue or mental fatigue, or isn't getting along, even though it's not their fault, not getting along with the other trainees. It's not her fault for that. It's not even her fault. But as a company, these are things that you have to keep in mind because they are going to affect your product and the people that you're responsible for. As a company, no matter how lucrative you think this person is going to be, how much fans or how much money they're going to bring in, you have to make that call and say, you know what, you're not a right fit for this. We're gonna let you go. But I think they were blinded by like the potential, of like the profit they could make, of all the fans and popularity she was going to bring. They knew she was the one. They were right about that. She was the one. But there were a lot of reasons as to why they probably should have let her go early. I've watched a lot of K-pop produced shows, reality shows, documentaries. More talented trainees have been let go for less. They were right about her being the one, but maybe this wasn't the right project for her. They could have incubated her more. They could have kept her around. Maybe they should have, well, no. There wouldn't have been a black person in Cat's Eye if Manon wasn't there. But I do think that maybe if they just held on to her and weren't so desperate to get her to debut for the Cat's Eye timeline, she could have been in Prelude. I know that like a lot of people are iffy about that because, the girls in Prelude now, their heights match, their general physicality matches, they're sort of equally yoked in like skill almost. Of course, Emily's the best dancer, and then we have Lexi as the producer, brains, vocalist, and then Samara being the vocalist, right? But like they could have held on to her and debuted her in another project. Like if you did it for Lexi, you could have done it for Manon. As painful and as hard as that is, after all the work that she'd put in, things were always probably going to end up kind of iffy with her, simply because she didn't have a lot of time in the training process anyway, not as much as the other girls at least. And with no industry experience, none of these things are her fault.